Hey everybody, welcome to the Otherz podcast. I'm your host, Steve Penny. Joining me as always in his favourite Brazil shirt, the boy from Brazil, Rafa. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm very good, man. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I am good. We should both be in a good mood. We are both celebrating birthdays, kind of at the
Yes.
moment. Yours was the other day, mine is tomorrow. I had to think about that, hence why we're changing the day of our recording. But I have no idea when I will actually post this because it's going to be a busy week. What with
Nice.
birthday things and England for those that watch the football and are following the Euros. We were just talking before we hit record about Brazil because you are wearing your Brazil top. But I don't know if you really want to discuss it any further, seeing as it was not a particularly good outcome for your team.
Yeah. I mean, Brazil just sucks at the moment, man. So let's just move on.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
But you can talk about England. Like England is like I was surprised actually.
We were all surprised.
You're right.
It's not been fun to watch the last few games, to be fair.
Yeah.
So let's see how we do this week on Wednesday. I'm not
Um,
particularly hopeful, but with England, you never know. You never know.
yeah, exactly. Let's see.
I think most of our listeners are in the US anyway, so I can fully imagine that most people listening to this don't really care about the Euros. Maybe they care about Brazil a little bit more, but certainly not England. So we won't
Mm,
dwell on it too much longer. We have got a big track to talk about this week.
yes.
We are going back to, oh God, what year was it? 2003. Trying to check my show notes.
Mm,
It is Busta Rhymes, yet again. We're doing all the Busta and N.E.R.D stuff recently, I feel. And it is from the Clones album, and it is Light Your Ass on Fire. The
yes,
club
man.
classic.
Exactly. The originator of the cult classic, Dude, We're Going to Rio.
Oh no.
We are going to get into that, but yeah.
No, please let's not again. Oh Jesus. Let's talk about this song first. So
Yeah.
yes, Light Your Ass on Fire came out in August 2003. Looking it up, it wasn't really listed as a single that was released when I looked on Wikipedia. It's normally where I find out chart positions and things like that. But I do remember it did have a commercial release because there is like a vinyl version of it. And there's also a CD version of it, which I think I've got around here somewhere. I'm not quite sure where, with the yellow cover with Busta and Pharrell on it. And I did eventually find a chart position, at least in the US. So it supposedly got to number 58 on the top 100 and number 23 in the old classic hip hop and R&B chart. So commercially, it didn't do brilliantly, but I do remember of the time it was a big one for the clubs, let's say.
Yeah. What a shame. Like, you shouldn't be huge just for the beat itself.
It's one of those that, like, even though it didn't perform particularly well, I think everyone knows it when they hear it.
Yeah.
Even if you're not necessarily a Buster fan or a follower of Pharrell and stuff like that, I think a lot of people out there recognize it from somewhere. I think over the years I've heard it in the background of all sorts of not just places like bars and clubs and stuff, but I feel like TV shows and stuff like that as well. I've heard it in movies. I couldn't find any specific information when I kind of did a quick search about it being licensed out for stuff like that. But I do feel that over the years I've heard it in different places like that.
Yeah. The only places that I remember like hearing it, but it is the most recent one is I think it was the Fenty show, one of the Fenty shows with the Rihanna. And I think in 2007, 2008, Britney Spears was using the song as a outro or something like just to when the artist is exchanging clothes, you know. I remember because my one of my ex-girlfriends used to be a huge fan, and I was watching the concert and the song came out, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's the best part of the show.
Your ex-girlfriend was a fan and made you watch the show, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I like some Britney songs. I was never a huge fan, but I like some of Britney songs. Come on now.
There's a couple that are all right.
Yeah,
I think we've discussed them on the podcast previously.
yeah,
Bar that, yes, I don't venture too much into the world of Britney Spears. In terms of the video we've got here for Light Your Ass on Fire, directed by Joseph Kahn, who has done like loads of hip hop stuff over the years.
yes.
Only 4.2 million views on YouTube, but that is only from 2014. It seemed to have been re-upped then, so it would have had a good 11 years before that of being on YouTube. I don't know where. I assume it was under some other account, maybe one of those old Vivo accounts that we talked about previously, and then got moved to the Busta Rhymes account. So I imagine it does have more views and more plays over the years, but 4.2 million is all we have to go on at the moment.
Yeah.
And this is a weird one because in terms of this, the song was a banger. We know that. In terms of the video, there's obviously quite a budget that's gone into the video.
Yes.
You know, there's some visual effects. There's some wardrobe. There's some set design. There's a lot of color grading going on after the fact in the post production. But I don't think it's a great video. I'm not a massive fan of it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I'm not a huge fan also, but I think it is also a great video. And I mean, I think it's well made, but I think the the story behind it like is too silly, you
The
know.
concept,
But
yeah.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, as when you think about cinematographic and I don't know, like the effects, like it's pretty cool. But overall, it's like meh. But I mean, and I think for a Joseph Kahn video, is like it's kind of disappointing because he was doing like a bunch of it. Like he did like DMX, like a lot of pop acts like uh, Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, even Cisco. That's one of my favorite videos of all time. Like the Thong Song video, like amazing. So yeah, when you see this, it's kind of like, oh, I was expecting more. But I mean, the comedic, some parts of the comedic parts, is fun. But I think it's like dated, like it's too much to doubt in 2000s comic type of stuff.
It hasn't aged very well watching it back. Yeah. And like you say, it is well directed and it's quite well shot. But yeah, the concept of it, like I can see the idea that they had behind it and I can see why they went with that. And it plays into that kind of part of Buster's personality where he's has that kind of comedic sort of side to him and he's kind of, larger than life and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And they've obviously gone down the route of this Looney Tunes type style of, coloring and slapstick comedy and it's kind of 60s based, which is, when obviously Looney Tunes were really big and stuff. So it's kind of got that throwback feel to it, but I just didn't think it worked very well. I do like the fact that in 2000, what year did we say? 3, 4, whenever this came out. I like the fact they're trying something different because this could have been just like every other video of that time, like we've talked about previously,
yeah,
in a nightclub, women dancing, especially with that hook that it has as well. It could have been very much like that. So it's nice to see something different of
exactly.
that period. But it hasn't sort of stood up to the test of time very well, I don't feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, I agree 100%. What I say at the beginning, when you see Pharrell creeping, I instantly think about like the cult classic that we're going to Rio, as Pharrell portrayed a pretty creepy dude in the movie, and Busta
Predator
Rhymes on
P.
it. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, just shout out for that movie and for everybody that was involved in it. Like we should do an episode just talking about that movie. Like we have a lot to talk about that movie.
There's a lot not to talk about that movie.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, 100%.
I like we've talked about it before, and I like the idea, but I just worry that going back and like rewatching it again and talking about it, one, it's just cringe-worthingly bad,
Yeah.
And two, there's so much stuff where it's just like, that's not cool. Like you can't do that. You can't say that.
Yeah,
Like
man.
I don't know if I want to go through that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you think about it, like it is bad for 2003. It is bad already.
Yes, very much so.
And if you watch now, like it's just like, oh my God. And, but yeah,
One day, I think like we've said, we need to have a few drinks and then
yes,
watch it and then a few more drinks and then do a podcast about it.
yeah. And after like just go to the church and ask for forgiveness, I guess.
I feel that anyone that puts themselves through that should yeah have to go and ask for forgiveness for having to bear witness to it. Anyway, let's move on from that because that's a whole other
Yeah,
podcast. Let's get back into this one. So for those that haven't sort of seen the video before or haven't seen it in a while, is what's his name? Bokeem Woodbine is in it, the actor, and he is kind of playing, let's say, a slightly nerdy character who is kind of up against Busta Rhymes for the attention of a unsurprisingly attractive young woman. Busta plays more of a Fonz type character, again, sort of fitting in with that whole 60s kind of vibe.
yeah,
I think Happy Days was after the 60s, wasn't it? Happy Days was the 70s.
yeah,
But around that kind of era, roughly, you know,
yeah,
it's got that vibe to it anyway. And then, like you say, Pharrell makes an appearance. I like the start where he's kind of riding on the kind of chopper bike down the street, but then it turns into a whole thing where the two main characters are obviously approaching this house, trying to win the attention and let's say affection of this woman, and Pharrell is just peering through a fence in the back garden, watching her, I think, clean a swimming pool at one point and sweep up and stuff like that. It's genuinely quite creepy and quite disturbing. And again,
yeah,
it's I think there was another video we talked about previously where there was something similar. And I think I said then, and I'll say it again now, like, I don't know how they got him to agree to do that.
yeah,
Because someone has to pitch the idea to him, and the idea as a whole, I'm sure he was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then it's like, but your part, when you're here for the day, we're going to make you a pervert who's going to stare through a fence at a woman and look really like sort of sweaty and creepy as well at the same time.
yeah.
It's I find it hard to believe that he kind of willingly agreed to that and just said, "Yeah, that sounds cool."
Yeah, but I think the whole video is crazy. Like the whole video is crazy. So if you put like a Pharrell being a creepy dude looking to through the fence to keeping out like a woman, like a semi-naked woman, like it's not the crazy idea. I mean, look what Busta is saying on the music video. Like, it's even crazier. No, I was just gonna say, like, if you think about it, like the things that Busta is saying on that song is the same level of, I don't know, Cardi B lyrics right now.
To be fair, yes, there are some lyrics. Let's make sure we try not to repeat them because I do, despite me being quite sweary, we do have our limits in terms of what we can say before we get a not safe for work thing put on us in Apple Podcasts. So let's try not to repeat too many of them. But
Yeah,
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 when you look at it like that, it does have that kind of whole vibe to it. And also, again, the fact that there's like two guys turning up to a woman's house,
exactly.
just kind of in her house, trying to like woo her in some way. It's a bit like, okay, a bit awkward.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that actually the first like we were supposed to do this episode like last week, and I didn't notice that, and I didn't even thought about that. But when I was watching earlier today, I was like, man, this looks so much like, no, not so much, but it reminds me of Who That Boy from Tyler the Creator with A$AP Rocky. And I thought, wow, even the song a little bit, not the lyrics or the beat or anything, but even the beginning of the song, the instrument is kind of like anticipates what the songs is going to be. I don't know if you remember. Yeah,
It's a Kraftwerk
from
sample, yeah.
Craft Revolt. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, in Who That Boy, Tyler also like put some creepy sounds like that anticipates the beat and the drop comes on. So I was like, oh man, I would love to someone to ask Tyler the Creator just like what is the really if this song or the video inspiring him to do the song and the video for Who That Boy.
I don't know the song off the top of my head. I'm not very good with Tyler songs because I've not followed him like you have over the years.
Yeah,
But I'm going to sit here and make a note of that song, and
yeah, please.
I'll go and have a watch later. And if I remember, I'll add a link to the show notes as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then people can compare and contrast themselves. I'm going to add it into my I Am Other notebook as well. Very nice.
Nice. Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense because I mean, every time I think about Tyler the Creator's character, I always think like it's a mix of Busta Rhymes with Dave Chappelle and Pharrell. Like it's all these three guys mix it, you know?
Yeah, and we know that obviously, Tyler is heavily influenced by stuff that Pharrell has worked on, especially stuff from the early 2000s as well. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there was some influence there in terms of the song and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We did just mention it at the start of the track. There is a sample from Kraftwerk from Trans Europe Express. I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to go listen to it. It's a very famous song. You can pick out the sample from it straight away. I don't know if there's any other samples kind of throughout the song. I think it is just used in that intro portion, but that's the only one listed. One other thing I did notice as well in terms of Pharrell is there's no branded kind of clothing that he's wearing in the video.
oh
So
yeah,
he's got some those kind of like camo cargo shorts on that he was wearing a lot around that time. But then he's wearing that kind of stripy t-shirt, which does have a tag on it, but I couldn't see what the tag said or what the label was. It certainly wasn't Bape or anything. And then from what I could see, he's wearing like a plain black pair of sneakers. And again, I didn't pay too much attention to what they were, but they certainly weren't, Bape or BBC or anything. And again, quite surprising because if you look at the cover of the single for this song, he's wearing Bapesters. I think he's wearing an ostrich leather pair, and he's also wearing one of the early, I think maybe one of the sample BBC polo shirts. So
yeah,
we are already in that kind of BBC Bape era, but we don't see any of it in the video itself.
yeah,
So I'm guessing he got some, he had a wardrobe that was given to him and he was directed what to wear. But again, of that time, he was appearing in lots of videos and it didn't seem like he was listening to many external stylists because he would just turn up and wear whatever he felt like. Normally it was, Bape and BBC, of course.
yeah,
But yeah, we don't see any in this video, which was, quite surprising. But maybe the video was shot prior to, I was going to say, prior to, or quite prior to the single coming out and stuff like that. But it would have still been around the time when he was wearing Bape at least. So yeah, if anyone can ID the t-shirt or the sneakers, let us know. I will go back and have another look at some point in the future and
yeah.
see if I can spot what they are, though.
Yeah, it might be Chuck Taylor's, right?
I think they probably were something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So one other thing that I noticed earlier today, I think one of the guys that is on the fence with Pharrell, creeping out the young lady on the pool. I think he's Chet's cousin, and I just found his Instagram. I think his Instagram is like Mick the Ruler. Do you know him?
Oh, yes, he used to be Pharrell's assistant, yeah.
Yeah. So that's him. I mean, I think that's him.
Okay, I'll double
Like
check that,
he's
yeah, because I think I'd recognize Mick if I kind of knew it was him. So I'll have a relook at the video later and see if that is him.
yeah. Check it out. I think it's him.
That's a good spot, though. A very good spot, because I certainly didn't pay attention to any of the other kind of characters that were there.
Yeah.
What else did we have to do? Also, one thing I
Oh,
mentioned earlier.
one question. Like,
Go on.
since you know him Is he really Shad's cousin?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah. No, not even. I'm not sure either. Okay.
Yeah, I have spoken to him previously, and I know he was working with Pharrell for like a really really long time, especially in those kind of early days. But I'm not sure what the backstory is. But I'll
Okay.
ask him and find out.
Okay. Nice.
And then something we mentioned earlier that kind of features prominently in this video, which is one of the things that does make the video kind of stand out, is the Looney Tune esque kind of sight gags that they have with the effects that they use. So you've got Bokeem kind of diving into a seemingly full swimming pool and then kind of hitting bottom of the pool with no water in it. You've got the eyes and hearts kind of popping out, which made famous by obviously those cartoons, but also the mask. That was kind of a key thing in the mask, the movie, if you remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And the mask would have been
Sure.
what, 1994 or something, 95 maybe.
Yeah.
So they used a similar kind of thing there. There's also, I think, Busta's kind of got this like rattling sort of teeth and jaw, and then at the very end, Bokeem gets kind of caught in the young lady's bathroom, and she punches him in the face, and that sends him flying out of the house, through the wall and out into the neighborhood somewhere, and we kind of see that as well. As we mentioned earlier, yeah, plenty of effects put into this and post production, which it's good to see. We also, tying it into that whole sort of Looney Tunes type thing, is we get the Star Trek logo at the start and the end, done in that
Yeah.
kind of style as well, which was actually quite nice to see and looked quite good.
Yeah. It is creative.
Yeah, and then bringing that all together with the post production again, like we mentioned earlier, the color grading they used in the kind of post production and the kind of really warm color palette. So they've really upped the sort of yellows and oranges and stuff like that to really give it a distinctive look and feel. And I think that really adds to the sort of 60s type feel of it as well.
Yeah. Exactly.
And this is one of those videos. It is the early 2000s, so of course we have a small kind of interlude within the video. Luckily, it's not some crazy long supposed comedy sketch. It is Busta reciting a line from a song from 1946, I think it was. Or sorry, it was originally used in, again, tying it into the whole Looney Tunes cartoon type thing. It was used in an old classic Tom and Jerry episode in 1946, performed by Ira Woods. But it's from a song from Louis Jordan. Again, I'll put links in the show notes so you can refer back to it and listen to it yourself. But there is that kind of throwback to that, which I assume came from the director.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah, and then the only other note I had regarding this, aside from the video, was just the track in itself. And as you mentioned earlier, like, lyrically it's interesting, let's say. I guess that's one way you could phrase it. It's not his best lyrical work, let's say, but it is interesting. But the standout thing to me is the beat of the track. And even the beat itself is really simplistic. I think if you look up this song online and you look at music forums from back in the early 2000s, there'll be a lot of people there complaining about how simplistic the beat is and how easy it would have been to have made it.
Yeah.
But it is the standout thing, and it is one of those tracks that because it has that really like low frequency bass. If you listen to it on a really good sound system or in a club or somewhere like that, it really knocks, which I think was the kind of point
Oh
of it,
yeah.
really.
Yeah. 100%. And I mean, it's one of the classic Neptune's beat that is so minimalistic and futuristic at the same time. Like if you think about it, like it's just a few elements, but it kind of sounds overproduced, but it's not overproduced at all. Like if you even like Busta's flow, for example, like it feels that Busta's flow is more overproduced than the beat.
Hmm.
And also, like I said, like a classic Neptune's beat that is also sounds timeless. Like if someone that never heard this beat hear this beat today, they're going to say, "Oh, this is awesome." It sounds futuristic today.
Yes. No, I get what you mean. Yeah, and I'm surprised, like, because of the sound in it and because it is so simplistic, it would be an easy track to sample as well. And I'm surprised that it
True.
hasn't been sort of chopped up and sampled in some way. I did look up like on the Who Sampled website if anyone has sampled this. I think there were like a couple of small samples used on a couple of tracks, but nothing like major. So it does surprise me a bit, and especially like the little the iconic sort of iconic's maybe not the right word, cult classic, whatever you want to call it, little kind of Busta vocal where it pauses and he just says, "I'm saying
Amazing.
that I really really like because it just breaks up the flow completely."
Yeah.
But it works so well in the track, and I'm surprised that that hasn't been sampled somewhere.
Yeah, that's true. Like someone should do that. Yeah. No, it's amazing. It's a standout for sure. Yeah. And it's also, I feel like it's one of those beats that only Busta and I don't know, maybe a few other rappers can do something cool with it. Like maybe Missy or Luda.
I was going to say
I don't
Luda,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. But if you think about it, like the song that Luda has on the Clones album, it also sounds cartoonish a little bit. It sounds like Looney Toony. But yeah, maybe like Nicki Minaj would do a pretty good job on that beat also.
I'm shuddering as you say that, as you say Nicki Minaj.
No, just because like she sometimes like when she wants to like she really do some pretty cool stuff with her flow, like changing the flow and screaming and everything. So I think she would probably like do a good job on that beat. I don't know. But I know but I mean Busta, Missy and Luda is like on the top of my mind for that beat for sure.
Nori perhaps as well.
Yeah, true.
Early 2000s Nori, but God knows what nonsense he would come out with on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just imagining the same song and the same video concept, but with Nori. It would be bizarre.
Yeah, true. And one thing that when we talk about Busta's flow, like it's so crazy because, and I think is one of the reasons that sometimes we don't really pay attention to the lyrics, and sometimes we also don't actually pay attention to how great of a rapper Busta is. But I think when we talk about Light Your Eyes on Fire is one of those songs that the beat is so awesome and the flow is so crazy that you don't even pay attention how wrong the lyrics are.
Yeah, definitely. You can easily kind of overlook that just by getting sort of sucked into the song itself.
Yeah, true.
I was just flicking through the lyrics in the background and having a read, and yeah, they are all over the place. I was trying to pick out see if there was some key lines to kind of pick out or things that I
Yeah.
think sort of
I
stood
mean,
out, but yeah,
no, my favorite is like your ass is all over like paraphernalia. Like
yeah.
who compare an ass with paraphernalia? Like only I think only Buster would do that. I mean, watch me get deeper than than a Navy SEAL is also a great line.
Yeah, I hope your ass bigger than Willona and Felma from Good
Yeah,
Times.
true. I mean, you must be old to understand that, but yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say that would have been before my time as well. But
yeah,
yeah,
it
I
is.
get the reference at least. There was one just before that. I'm so clean. Call me Felix Unger, and I didn't know who Felix Unger was. So luckily
Me
on
too.
Genius,
Yeah.
that's actually annotated, and he was he was a character from The Odd Couple, which is a TV show I recognise, but I've probably not seen much of it. And he was like an OCD kind of clean freak person. So the line "I'm so
Nice.
clean, call me Felix Unger" that works quite well.
Yeah, true. And I also like it's not like it's not the line itself, but it's just the way he said it. Like I love to hear your ass go gagagoom when you're walking and shit. Like only Busta do this type of stuff. Like man, so crazy.
He certainly paints a picture, doesn't he, with his words?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So next time you listen to this track, make sure you listen very closely to the lyrics and imagine that in your mind.
Yeah, true. And I think like for the ones that never heard like Kraftwerk or I don't know Africa Bombata, like after like listen to Light Your Eyes on Fire and then go to Kraftwerk and Africa Bombata to listen to one of those guys. Incredible work, like it's pretty insanely cool.
Definitely, if you are one of the younger listeners, then yes, be sure to refer back to people such as that to understand where most hip hop music comes from.
Yeah,
That's your homework for the week.
true.
Do we have anything else for this video?
Yeah, I don't know, but I just I put this on my notes, and I don't know why actually, but I think it's like maybe it can be interesting for people that is hearing right now. But I was thinking about how Busta Rhymes is such a crazy rapper when he was working on his flows, and also how his lyrics sometimes is so hilarious and and actually it made me think like the first time that I heard Childish Gambino, it was because I heard Busta talking about him on an interview. Saying, "Oh, Childish Gambino is a," because people were asking like, "Oh, people don't like. There's not a lot of rappers like you anymore, Busta." And he was like, "Yeah, I agree, but Childish Gambino is pretty funny." And I was like, "Who is this guy?" So yeah, Busta Rhymes, like because of he's funny, he's makes some pretty cool and interesting and funny lines on his rap. Like he put me on Childish Gambino.
That's good that Buster put you onto something decent because uh, a, a lot of the people that I would say in the last 10 or so years that Buster Rhymes has been doing stuff with haven't been of particularly good quality.
Oh yeah, true. Agreed.
What's I'm trying to think what Buster's record label is.
Right
Is
now,
it Conglomerate? Like his own one that he had?
oh I
I think
have
it's yeah,
no idea.
Conglomerate. Yeah, Conglomerate Entertainment, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, but anyway, the sort of people he's kind of signed to that over the years and that he's worked with over the last 10 years or so and things, yeah, haven't been of the best of quality. So it's good that he is keeping his ear to the street and at least putting some people on to some decent stuff.
yeah, true.
All right. Anything else?
No, I think it. This is it. I say
Good segue.
Yeah,
Let's get on to some news because we had a bunch of news that we were going to talk about last week, but we also had Roscoe here, so we didn't get
yes,
around to it. So let's go through that. Luckily, because we're now coming into the summer, there hasn't been a lot more news since then, so we don't have tons of it. But we'll start going through a few bits and pieces. We've previously mentioned the girl group New Jeans. And we mentioned that Pharrell was working with them on a new single called Supernatural. I don't know if it's actually come out yet, but there is at least on Instagram a clip of it. So if you're wondering what it sounds like, then you can head over there. I'll put the link in the show notes. You can check that out. It didn't sound like anything amazing to me. It sounded like
yeah,
something Pharrell was kind of just working on in the background amongst all of his other stuff and just, kind of, I don't want to say churned it out, but probably wasn't his top priority, let's say.
yeah. True. I felt the same. I think I gave like two listens, and I was like, oh, okay, that this is pretty mid.
Yes. I'm just going to have a quick look on Apple Music to see if it's actually out properly. What are they called? New Jeans.
Yeah,
Oh, yes, their single. It is out already. So, yeah, go and check it out on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. It does have a Takashi Murakami cover as well, which does actually look quite good. I did see them working with him as well recently. So obviously they've been collaborating with him. I'll give that a proper listen at some point soon. But yeah, from what I heard from the snippets, it wasn't great. So I'll get around to it eventually. But other new Pharrell tracks, we have got Double Life from the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack,
Yes.
an audio version, and I think there is a video. It's like a lyric video, I think, out. And also there's another version of the video which kind of ties in bits of the movie and stuff like that. I don't think Pharrell makes any appearances anywhere in it, but that's out on all the streaming platforms on YouTube. This one, again, it's a Despicable Me song. It's not meant to be a full-on Pharrell N.E.R.D fan type one. It's meant to, work for the movie. It sounded all right. It was good enough. I gave it a few listens. I've added it to my library, so if it comes on again, I will listen to it. Also, friend of the podcast, Brent, was the one playing the guitars on it, and I think he has worked on other stuff for the movie as well. Again, I don't know if the full soundtrack is out for
I don't think so.
that. I'm just going to look it up now. Okay, so there's the original motion picture soundtrack. So that's, the, God, how many tracks are in here? 44 pieces of music from the movie, but I don't think any of them are actually from the kind of soundtrack that Pharrell would have put together. So hopefully we'll see some more work, because I know Brent said he did work on the project as a whole, so I'm hoping there's more stuff. But if you've seen the movie, let us know what you think of it. I've heard very mixed things so far. I've heard a few people say it was okay. I've heard a few people say it was truly awful. I think once you get to the fourth version of a movie franchise, they're never going to be brilliant, are they?
Yeah. That's pretty difficult, especially when it's a kids movie. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the fourth version of this, but then you've also had various Minion movies and side projects and things like that to go with it. So at this point, it's just a giant advert for Minions, isn't it? And to sell as many as those as possible.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of merch that the studio sold with Minions and with this movie is insane. So it's only right that they did this fourth movie. But at the same time, I was kind of surprised when they announced it. They are going to release like the fourth movie, and I kind of like the concept of it, because the first thought of my mind was like, oh man, another one? Like seriously? Like I didn't think they could, like, I don't know, like create another creative story for it. And I was like, oh, okay, this kind of like, it's kind of cool, like the concept of the story. And I haven't watched yet, but I'm going to check it out just to see.
I will at some point. I have heard that the story is the one thing that just lets it down. I think from the negative reviews that I've seen so far, there's been quite a few of them, I have to say. The
Yeah.
whole part with Gru and with like his family, the three girls that are in it, they just kind of get in the way of it being a Minion movie, basically. Obviously they, like you say, they need to sell all of the Minion merch. No one's out there buying Gru character dolls, are they? It's just all about the Minion stuff. So and now it just seems like they're trying to push the Minion side of it as hard as possible, and the other characters are just kind of in the way. So it might make sense at some point soon to drop the whole Despicable Me franchise and just move to it just being a Minion thing that ticks over every now and again, and maybe those characters can kind of reappear or something. But yeah, I've not heard great stuff, but I will watch it at some point, and at least the music was fairly decent.
Yeah, it was. It kind of sounds like the first soundtrack. That thing like made me appreciate the song. Like, I think like the first 20 seconds, I was like, oh, this take kind of takes me back to the first movie.
Yeah, and what I did notice as well, listening to it again the other day, and I only just remembered this, was it did have some vibes of Black Yacht Rock as well. Obviously, I think a lot of them were
True.
made around the same sort of time, and Brent was heavily involved in that as well. So I felt like there was some kind of crossover and similarities there. So I get the feeling, yeah, a lot of that work was done around the same time or in kind of similar sessions.
Yeah, 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 yeah. True, I agree. Just one thing about the song. Have you seen that people online were saying that the track was a diss track about Drake?
Oh, geez. I saw that today when I was
Oh
searching through
man,
some new stuff, and I heavily rolled my eyes because, of course,
yeah. So
it's a based on the fucking characters from a kids movie. Oh my
yeah,
god.
exactly. I mean, I think it's good for publicity, but I mean, guys, not it is not for Drake. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's not good for publicity. Like I imagine people making that movie don't want
Oh,
anything to
true.
do with that stuff. But it's good for clicks. It's good for websites that want to make
Yeah,
stuff like that up and yeah, click on it. But I did see that as well, yes. And I read the first few lines and was like, this is absolute stupid nonsense. I'm not reading the rest of it.
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, on to sneakers. We have a few new sneakers. So we have a new Pharrell one. Some new Adidas Superstars, the Superstar 92s. These are labeled the double wide. We've seen them recently. I think he was wearing them in Paris around sort of Fashion Week time, himself and the family. These are like a widened, sort of chunkier version of the Superstar.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the Superstar silhouette anyway. Not a massive fan.
No.
Not going to say I would never wear a pair, but I wouldn't seek them out. And these, with them being kind of extra wide and chunky, puts me off even more. I really don't like them. But I don't really like any of the more recent ones that have come back into fashion. So I'm not a fan of the gazelles and stuff like that that are popular again now, and
Yeah.
some of those silhouettes. So I'm not exactly one to talk about what's in fashion at the moment and what people like. But if you are a fan of the Superstar, if you are a fan of the chunkier looking shoe, then these will be coming out soon. I did see like friends and family packs went out a few weeks back, so it should get a release at some point soon.
Yeah. I mean, I like the superstar silhouette. I've been a fan like for maybe probably since I was a teenager because I mean it's a pretty durable shoe, and but this chunky version is not for me. And but I also saw that it's going to be like three versions of it. Like one, I think it's three versions. All of them are kind of chunky, but the sole is going to be like in three versions, like a really thin sole, a medium sole, and a pretty huge sole.
Okay, I hadn't
I
seen
saw
that.
a photo somewhere. Yeah, yeah, I saw a photo somewhere. So that's basically it. Like there's no anything more like that stands out to be a collaboration with Pharrell, but I mean, and they also like putting like a pink soul in all of them. So yeah, it looks kind of like I don't know. It's not for me.
Yeah,
People probably is going to like it because Chunky Shoes like is making a comeback now, but I mean, it's not for me.
yeah. I did like the colorway of the black version I saw. And it was probably with the pink sole, and it had I think some little pink accents on it, and maybe the laces were kind of white and pink as well. That looked sort of quite
Yeah,
good, just in terms of the colorway. But like, yeah, the style of the shoe, the silhouette of it, I'm not a big fan of. So these ones I will be avoiding.
yeah, true. Me too.
And then more sneakers. We previously talked about the Chinese release of the Li Ning, if I can say it properly, Wade ones or whatever they were. I can't remember now. Way of Wade, that was it.
Yeah,
Collaboration with BBC. They've released a couple more, and I think from what I've heard, there are more collaborations coming.
damn.
So I will again put the pictures and stuff in the show notes, and I'll try and add some chapter art if I remember as well. But we've got another basketball shoe, and I don't know what this silhouette is based off of, but this is actually they're white and pink with some black accents, and they're actually quite good looking. I feel so they are like a modern basketball shoe silhouette,
Yeah,
white uppers, a pink sole, but then it's got like I want to say like a strap down the side, which is pink with the black diamond and dollars on it, and then the toe box of the shoe is white, but in it, again, is the diamond and dollar pattern in white as well. You can only see it at certain angles in certain pictures. And then what I really like is the inside of the shoe. So the inside of the ankle, and I'm not
Yes.
sure how far into the shoe it goes, is again like the bright pink with the black diamond and dollar print all over it as well. And I think that looks really good.
Yeah, me
So the
too.
pair we talked about the other week, I wasn't a massive fan of. And I'm not a fan of like the more modern basketball sort of silhouettes anyway. But these actually look quite cool. And these are a pair that if, yeah, I'm not going to go pay the stupid amount that they probably are getting them in China and getting them shipped over. But if these became available in Europe at some point, or I could get a pair for a good price, I'd consider them. I don't know if I'd necessarily wear them at
Yeah.
all or regularly, but I think they're a good looking pair, good looking shoe.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think is I would buy it, but it looks okay. But I think it would be awesome if they released this shoe like I don't know 5 years ago, because I think like the format, the silhouette was like this type of silhouette. Like, it was pretty popular 5 years ago,
Hmm.
and I think it would be huge if they released this in 2020. But yeah, like you said, like I really like some of the details on it, like the print all over, like the diamond and dollar prints all over the inside of the shoe. It kind of looks like an animal print, and I really like the astronaut head logo on
Hmm. On the
the
tongue,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they do look nice. And then there is another pair as well, which they don't necessarily look like a basketball shoe. They're more like an Air Force One type shoe.
Yeah,
And they are ice cream branded as opposed to BBC. And they look, I can't tell properly from the pictures. I would need to kind of see them in person, but they look like a kind of leather upper, which has some kind of texture to it, which is meant to mimic some kind of like snakeskin type pattern or something. But then down
yeah,
the side, they have this like pink, plasticky, jelly looking type thing attached to the shoe, which I can't work out what it's meant to be from the pictures that I've got.
yeah. I mean,
I'll
neither.
try and I know someone that has a pair of these shoes, so I'll try and get some better pictures maybe. Again, like parts of this shoe look really good. Other parts, like the pinky plasticky thing on the side, don't look good whatsoever. I think if you removed that and had something else there, these could be quite a nice shoe.
Yeah,
Because like I
true.
say, the leather side, the kind of embossed pattern they've got on them to make them look like a sort of snake skinny type thing does look like it's actually done quite well. You've then got a pink sole, although what I don't like on the very bottom of the sole is that there's like I guess it's like a bear paw print or something, which just looks weird.
Yeah, true. It makes no sense.
Yeah, because they're ice cream branded, I would have thought and you've got the ice cream logo on the like the heel tab. I would have thought you'd have like an ice cream logo of some kind on the bottom. But instead, yeah, they've got like a bear paw print, which I don't know, maybe ties into the silhouette or design that they are from that brand.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the brand itself or the history, so I'm sure it ties into something. It's not going to be there randomly, but without the kind of context, it looks a bit weird.
Yeah, and I thought that it could be like a dog palm because of the running dog on the box
Oh, could be,
on the
could be.
shoe box, but it looks way more as a I don't know like you say a bear palm or I don't know a tiger or something.
I did think a dog paw as well to go with the running dogs. I think the box it comes with has a running dog on it, but it would be a dog with very long claws. So,
Yeah,
which is what made me think it was more like a bear or something. I don't know. Like I say, I'll try and get some better pictures of this from somebody that I know that has them and see if we can work out exactly what all these different elements are. But again, I'll try and add these to the show notes. If they're not in the show notes of the podcast player that you use, you can head over to the website and I'll make sure they're embedded on the post for this episode. They'll definitely be in there. All right, let's move on to everything Louis Vuitton. So, a few weeks back, we had the new season that was shown in Paris. So it's the men's spring-summer 2025 season. Again, I'll put a link in the show notes to the video. I can't remember if I watched this live or if I watched it afterwards. No, I did watch it live, yes.
No, you did.
Oh, yeah, because I was messaging you, wasn't I, at the same time?
Yeah, yeah. You text
That was
me,
it,
and I was like,
yes.
I have no idea what you're talking about, and I was like, oh, the show is live now. So yeah.
Yeah, I assumed you would be watching as well, but you weren't. So you just thought I was having some kind of breakdown, talking gibberish. But yes, we saw the whole new season. Again, some nice stuff in there. A very country, cowboy, Midwest theme throughout it, similar to previous seasons, which isn't my kind of style that I like. But there were some nice bits in there. The bits I'm mainly impressed with are like the accessories and the luggage and the bags and stuff, and some of the sneakers they've shown since. They look amazing. But you can go and watch that via the video itself. But from that one show, we got lots of other little bits of news as well. So one small bit, which I noticed afterwards, which Louis Vuitton fans will be excited about, is the Millionaire glasses are making a comeback for their third version. These are always like massively popular. The first version came out in like the early 2000s when Pharrell and N.E.R.D did, I think, their first collaboration with Louis Vuitton, and it was Marc Jacobs at the time, I think, wasn't it, that was there?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, that's when the first pair came out. I think they then brought them back for the 10th anniversary or something like that. And then we are now coming up on the 20th anniversary. So there is a version 3 coming out. I think they launch in August at some point. They will obviously be horrifically expensive, so I will not be buying a pair. But I know there are a lot of people out there that love that millionaire style, in terms of the glasses and the design of them. So if you are a fan and you've been trying to get hold of a pair, then there will be some coming out soon. And if you get in there quickly, you obviously then won't have to pay the absolutely obscene resale prices that millionaire glasses tend to go
Yeah,
for.
true. But I don't think it's going to be that expensive because Louis Vuitton sunglasses usually is not that expensive. I mean, it is expensive, but just in comparison to the other pieces, it's not that high. Because I remember like the ones that Virgil did. I don't think I don't know if that's the one that you're saying is the second version, but I think the retail price I think was like $400, something like that. I mean, for sunglasses, it's pretty expensive, but for like such a classic as a millionaires from Louis Vuitton, I don't think it's that expensive.
Okay, I just had to Google it quickly and look it up. So yeah, they go for between, okay, I've got them on here for like $670. No, sorry, euros, I should say.
Yeah,
1.1 versions. And then on StockX, they go for around $1,000 reselling. So, okay, so it's less expensive than I thought they actually were.
yeah.
That does make me think that if they come out, I could probably buy a pair. Oh my God. I did just annoyingly, as it is my birthday tomorrow, I normally treat myself to something on my birthday. And I was actually going to go to the Louis Vuitton store and I was going to buy the new LV Lovers cologne or perfume or whatever you want to call it. It is unisex. But it was 280 euros. And I just thought, I know I'm a bit mental when it comes to buying stuff like this sometimes, but I couldn't really bring myself to do it because I just thought 300 odd euros. Once I start using it, it will last me a while. It'll last a year or two maybe if I'm very careful with it, but it will
Yeah,
eventually be gone and I'll just be left with an empty bottle. So instead, I decided to buy myself some new sunglasses. I ordered myself a
nice.
nice custom pair of Ray-Bans,
Good for you.
but now I'm thinking like, man, I just spent 250 on a pair of Ray-Bans. It's not that much more to get a pair of Louis Vuitton millionaires.
Man, is going to make me feel like it's my fault. Don't do it.
Oh no, it will be your fault. Yeah, most definitely. After you specifically and unequivocally told me they are not that expensive,
Man,
I am going to keep my eyes peeled for when they release.
okay. I
And
going to have to live with it, I guess.
yeah, I probably won't buy a pair. I don't have the balls to go and do it because I know full well that not I'm not the sort of person that ever loses or breaks anything. I've never broken a phone, never lost my keys, never lost a phone, anything like that.
Good
But I
boy.
get the feeling if I went and bought a pair, somebody would sit on them, or I'd leave them in a car somewhere, or
Oh
something
yeah,
would happen to them. So I think I'd be too scared. But when they come out, I think I will check them out and I will have a look and yeah, let's see what happens.
yeah, yeah. Because we start to talk about the millionaires, I remember when Virgil did his version, I was like, and I think it was like for $400 or $500 or something like that. And I was thinking about it, like, oh, maybe I can buy this. And after 10 minutes, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you can get this money and go to Brazil.
Exactly, yeah.
Like it's the same price as a really good trip to Brazil. So I was like, oh, okay. So I snapped out of it, luckily.
Yeah, I don't think, unfortunately, either of us are living that life where, we're in a position where we can just like drop that kind of money and not care about it. Unfortunately, we both have jobs and we both have rent and bills and stuff to pay.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing about the millionaires also, I don't think I have clothes to match that. You know, like I'm going to wear like I don't know, like a 10 euros t-shirt with a
Yeah.
600 600 euros per sunglasses. Like, oh, I don't have the clothes for this, so yeah, I'm not gonna do
And I say all this as well, and I know full well that they would look absolutely terrible on me as well. Like
it.
I could not pull them off whatsoever. I know that for a fact. So again, I think if I were brave enough to go and buy a pair, I'd buy them. I'd probably wear them out once. And as soon as
No,
somebody looked at me funny, I'd be like, nope, I'm never wearing these again. Nope.
but I think so since you think like it's going to look horrible on you, like I think you should go to the store and try it. And if it looks good, you should buy it.
I'm just wondering, does Louis Vuitton on their app offer like the augmented reality where you can try stuff on? Because like with
Nice.
with Oakley, I did that. Not
Yeah,
Oakley,
yeah,
Ray
yeah.
Ban. I did that the other day. I kind of customized the glasses and all that sort of thing, and then obviously it lets you open your camera and you can then sort of try them on. It shows you what you would look like wearing them. So
That's awesome.
I'm just in the Louis Vuitton app now. I'm going to see if it actually does it at all. So let me open a pair of glasses.
Let's go.
They actually sell the 1.1 millionaire ones, and they are 650 direct from Louis Vuitton. But no, they do not offer that in their app at all, unfortunately. So we cannot see what I would look like.
Damn.
Again, I think Louis Vuitton is one of those brands where, like, they're not going to offer that. Like,
Yeah, of
if you're the
course.
sort of person buying those, it's like you know what you're buying. You don't need to try them on via an app.
Exactly. But if you go to the store, try them on, like please take a picture,
Yes, I will.
send me, and I'm going to make a review for you.
Thanks. I will. I will. Let me click on the link here because I want to check what the date is that they come out, because I think it did say in the link that I had. Where are they? Yeah, I did see it said August somewhere. The 8th of August. So I will still be on my summer holidays at that point. So I may
Nice.
well be able to pop to the local Louis Vuitton store. I'm just gonna look in my calendar. Okay, I'm on a trip away on that day, but the following day I'm back in town. So maybe I'll pop down to the store and have a look at them and see what they're like. And then try not to buy a pair and try not to buy any cologne as well.
Yeah. But I'm going to send a message for your missus, just saying don't let him do it.
I don't think she'd let me anyway, to be fair.
Really.
I think she'd murder me if I tried to buy a pair of sunglasses that made me look like an idiot like these will. Anyway, next door, more Louis Vuitton news, more up to date news. I think it was announced today or yesterday, Pusha T is now a Louis Vuitton brand ambassador. So going forward, expect to just see Pusha T wearing nothing but Louis Vuitton. That was kind of on the cards as he obviously is closeness to Pharrell, and he has walked the catwalk in at least one of the shows, maybe two of the shows, and also provided music for the shows. Speaking of which, in the last show that we were just talking about, we did get a new Clipse song called Birds Don't
Yes,
Sing, featuring John Legend. It sounded amazing.
true.
But following that, even better news, confirmed new Clipse album, 90% complete. There's already been a listening party. Pharrell has produced all of it. It is called As God Is My Witness. It will be with us very, very soon. Cannot wait.
Nice. Yeah, man, me too. I'm super excited about this because I mean, wow, clips are back together, like an entire project with Pharrell on the production. I mean, it's like the 2000s all over again. Even the Millionaires is coming back,
Exactly.
and you know what? And yeah, man, and that could mean like another world tour. I mean, not world tour, but I mean like a European tour or a US tour. So yeah, man, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I think we were talking about it a couple of episodes back. We were hoping this would happen. My only fear is that if the album comes out in the next couple of months, it's already kind of too late to do like all the summer tours and shows and festivals in Europe. Would they do it next summer? Would they like do a tour or a festival tour of an album that's nearly a year old? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But let's just hope they just put on some shows separately anyway once the album comes out. If they do, I have no doubt whatsoever they will not be coming to Finland, so I will likely be having to travel somewhere in Europe, but that's fine by me. I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, me too, man. Already going to have a conversation with the missus saying like, if they tour in Europe, I'm going.
Let's try and arrange something between ourselves, perhaps as well, because
Yes,
I feel
please.
I feel there's a few of us that want to get together and do that.
Yeah, you will be amazing, man.
Yeah. The one negative point, I think, or sad point to this is there is no Chad involvement whatsoever.
Yeah, man.
Obviously, the legal dispute is still ongoing with Chad and Pharrell, so there is no Neptune's work. And in a
No.
recent interview with Vulture, again, there'll be a link in the show notes, they were asked directly if Chad had been involved, and they said no, he had no involvement at all. So that's sad to see. I think Chad always brings something extra to those Clipse albums, and obviously, he
True.
knows them so well himself that I feel he could really add something sort of special to an album like this. But it's a shame, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
And
man.
we still don't know who the features are yet. They refuse to mention who would be featuring on the album. Obviously, we know John Legend already because that one song was used, but we don't know any of the other features. So it's going to be really interesting to see
Yeah.
what leaks out in the coming weeks and months, and what's actually going to be on the album when it arrives.
I just hope Jay-Z is on it, man. It's the only feature that I care about with the
I
clips.
feel you've got to have a J verse these days. Like,
Uh,
Pusha normally manages to get one off of him at least for each kind of project. So yeah, let's hope there's a J verse in there somewhere. Definitely.
yeah. Or maybe like a Freddie Gibbs, it will be interesting also.
Let's see what we get. And I think we've seen over the kind of last year or so, we've seen so many people in the studio with Pharrell, like in Paris, that could be anybody basically. I think everyone has passed
True.
through Paris at some point in the last 12 months. So I'm sure a lot of them have also frequented that studio he has at the Louis Vuitton headquarters. And let's hope, he's been collecting up some good verses in there.
Yeah, yeah. Let's hope so. Fingers crossed.
And then the final, not bit of news, but a bit of speculation. We talked previously about the piece by piece Lego movie that's coming out later this year. And we've talked about potential Lego sets they could do in terms of merch, because they normally release various sets of each movie.
True.
There have been a couple of rumors online, nothing definite, but rumors and renders. And one that I found that somebody I know that's very into Lego shared was an interesting piece. It's a spaceship, although this one's all in black with a gold front, which I didn't think would fit very well. But it's then got kind of a rainbow coloured jet stream coming from the back of it. Then there's a Pharrell minifigure, and then there's various different heads that you can get as part of the pack as well. Now, I don't know if those are other characters from the movie or whether they're, well, yeah, I was going to say, or whether they're other Pharrell ones, but they can't be because they're all different colours. So I guess there's a head for each kind of figure that appears, or each character that appears in the movie itself.
Yeah.
So this is, like I say, I think this is just a render of something. I don't think it's anything official. It could be a prototype of some kind. But yeah, we yet to see anything official at all. But if they were to release something like this would definitely be something I would be interested in purchasing.
Yeah. No, 100%. Me too. And I think you were mentioning the heads, and I think you're almost 100% right, because when I was when I was looking to the picture, it says my friends at the
Oh, at the
bottom.
bottom of the thing, yes, yeah.
So it probably like is the artist and people Pharrell collaborated through the years and on the movie.
Yeah, I would just find that a weird way of Lego to do it though, because normally you would have like a proper full body minifigure for each character. I think it would be weird if you had a Pharrell minifigure with a certain outfit, a Pharrell outfit, but then you would pop other character or other people's heads onto the top of that Pharrell outfit. I feel it'd be a bit weird, but we never know. There could be something else, happening here, and there could be more full body minifigures to come. So let's see. But again, I'll try and put this as some chapter art or in the show notes or something where you can go and check it out. I did also like, I'll include an image as well, and I hadn't noticed it previously. The promotional image they use for the movie, where it has like the gold bricks
Yeah.
building up into like a gold minifigure, and then it evolves into like a Pharrell minifigure. But he's wearing the Louis Vuitton camo suit that he wore, I think, at the first show that he did,
Yeah.
which looks really, really cool.
True, man. Like that if they release just that piece of Pharrell wearing the Louis Vuitton piece, like, oh, that will be already amazing. Like,
Yeah.
super cool.
I get the feeling the fact they're using it in the official promotional material, there's a good chance that will come out in some form. And also, I only just noticed this looking at it right now. You have that Lego brick evolution up to the minifigure in the image, but then there's like a reflection to each one. And the reflection of the Pharrell minifigure is actually Pharrell wearing the same suit.
Sure.
I just noticed that. So
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
makes me feel that we will probably get that in some ways, like an official piece of merch, which will be good.
Yeah, and that made me think about, can you imagine like a collaboration between Louis Vuitton and Lego? Like, I don't know, because I actually have a piece of of a collection that Levi's did with Lego, and it looks pretty cool. And I have a piece. I have a denim jacket that has like a pattern of Lego pieces on the chest, and looks pretty cool. So just make me think about how, if they do it, like how that will be like. It can be something pretty cool and at the same time pretty horrendous.
I could see it happening. Like Louis Vuitton do those kind of pop culture collaborations sometimes with other big brands like
Yeah.
Lego. So I think there's something they could do. And I just kind of Googled it quickly to see if there was any kind of mention of them doing stuff in the past. They have collaborated with Lego previously.
Oh, okay.
They have done some stuff. And then also there's a few websites where people can they're official Lego websites where you can go and submit ideas for new Lego collaborations or new Lego sets.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to the Jaws one, which comes out in a couple of weeks, which I'll be buying. But somebody has submitted like a Louis Vuitton bag one on there. again, if I remember, I'll put this in the show notes. I'll just open it and send it to you directly on. I'll send this on Instagram because there's a few on here actually that you might like.
Cool.
So there's a
Please.
few different. There's a Louis Vuitton logo. There's a Louis Vuitton bag on here. Different styles of bags. I could see them doing something like that. I really could.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's see.
And then obviously tying it in with some of the more recent designs that Pharrell's team have put out and stuff. I think that'd be quite cool.
Nice.
And then one final thing to mention. We mentioned it on the last episode, but we'll mention it again. A big shout out to Roscoe
Yes.
for joining us on the podcast last time. If you haven't checked it out yet because you saw it and you thought, oh, they're not talking about a track, I don't know what this is. It's just an interview, myself, Rafa, and Star Trek legend Roscoe P. Coldchain having a bit of a chat, talking about his previous work with Pharrell, with Star Trek, his time away, what he's up to now, how he's kind of managing his life at the moment and the music that he's putting out at the moment, all that kind of stuff. Check that out. And I mentioned that because, I just wanted to give another shout out to the album. So again, the link will be in the show notes. Living on Borrowed Time. Go and check it out. There's some classic Roscoe stuff on there.
Yes.
I think if you're a fan of Roscoe P. Coldchain, you'll hopefully enjoy the album. And then he's got lots more to come, which you can find out about via his website and his socials and stuff like that. And again, if you refer back to the last episode, all of his links and things are there in those show notes.
Yes, nice.
But that was everything I had. Anything else from yourself, Rafa?
No, I think that's it. I think we got everything for today.
Nice one. In which case, I think we can wrap it up. So, as mentioned multiple times, you can find all the links and information in the show notes of your podcast player. If for some reason you're missing something or can't see something, you can head over to the website, which is theothers.net, and you can click into the episodes there and see all of the show notes, all of the images and links in all their glory. You can find me online at Steve R. Penny. Rafa, where can people find yourself?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at @Rafito_Zurk, and also at sneak.art.el. That's where I put some of my artwork that I design. I design some sneaker posters and every now and then I put some Pharrell related stuff in there also. So if you want to check it out, it's at sneak.art.el.
Nice one. Be sure to check it out. There is some great art there. Great for presents all year round.
Yes.
And so let's wrap up there. So thank you for listening, everybody. We will speak to you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I sing.